Let's have a look. Is it bright enough? Yeah, we're live. Good evening, all, and welcome to Nick's Sunday night quiz. I wonder what you're all up to today. We're just waiting for everybody to get signed in. You should all see me live now. I'll just straighten my hair, as there seems to be some hair sticking up there. Tonight's quiz basically will be much the same as usual, 6 rounds of absolute nonsense. All you have to do is to try and answer as many correct questions as you can, at the end of which will mark your own scores after each round. We have lots of people signing in as we speak. We've already got the Rugby Rotary Club, Mike Yates has signed in. We've got Lisa Lasky, who's signed in from California. It's lovely to see them, and I know it's apparently just turned noon now in California. I hope the weather's good there. It's not been too bad here today, a little cloudy. Right, we've just had Harry Cage. Harry and Julian Ian have logged in with their team. Mark Gamlerton's checking in from Norwich. Nice to see you, Mark. It's great to hear from you, and I hope all is well with you. Ian Miller's just logged in. Evening to see. Nice to see you, Ian. I hope all is well with you and your family. We've got John's just signed in. A friend of Mike Yates, all the way from the New Forest or that area somewhere. So nice to see you. Martin's just logged in. Martin Davis from the famous quiz team. Our Welsh Martin and Tina have just signed in anyway from the Weak Links, which form a team, a Sunday night team at the Victoria Inn. Right, nobody puts Home Alone at 6 in the corner. Oh, what does that mean? Never mind, nobody puts Home Alone 6 in the corner. Right, Roy's just signed in. So hopefully, does that mean Dirty Dancing has finished in your house then, Roy? Or are you still watching? I expect Carol's got one eye on that even not. Right, Jackie Skips just logged in. I see you. Pick and Mix are here. So we've got a good team from Pick and Mix, I hope, tonight. And Royal Forest of Dean. Sorry, John, I knew it was down that way somewhere. So it's the Royal Forest of Dean. Wow. Why was it, or when did it become a Royal Forest? I expect it was something to do with, come on, Henry VIII? I have no idea. Jane Coulson's just logged in from Lincoln. Good, Coulson even. Coulson, sorry. My wife keeps speaking in my ear, trying to correct my language, but never mind, it's not so easy. And they're logging in from Lincoln, so they're just getting their snacks ready to go. Ian's, the Foreskins have just signed in, so nice to see Ian Townsend and the Foreskins. Evening all. My daughter's just signing in as well. She sat opposite me doing the oh well, she'll be putting the questions up for you on the screen in a minute. Right, we've got Great White has just signed in from Toronto, so we've now got our friends who've got friends from California and Toronto tonight, so that's good. They're playing with the Spodes in Chepstow, so it's great. We've got Squeaky Pop, they've just signed in, so that's hello to you, Neil and Tracy. Let's see how you fare tonight. As I say, tonight will be just 6 rounds of the usual rubbish, straightforward trivia. The first round tonight, as has been the case in all my quizzes, will start with Sunday the 17th, where the first 10 answers start with the letters Sunday, followed by the numbers 1 and 7, followed by the letters T and H. So you take the first letters of each to form the answer. So Sunday the 17th, right top to bottom on your first answer sheet. Right, we've got Don Quixote have just signed in, both from London and Manchester. They're a team always to be reckoned with, and done very well so far in this quiz. Michelle, another hot contender. Michelle always does well in these quizzes, so hope to see a great. It's nice to see you signed in as well. Stuart Colwell's just signed in as well. Nice to see you, John. And Andrew Lewis and the gang have signed in as well. The other half of the Weak Links from Sunday night. Goes wait. So the Royal Forest, just for all you that are interested, the Royal Forest of Dean, it's all right, I'm just holding a conversation with John. It goes way back to the Norman conquest. Well, it has lost the Royal in the 1970s, but I still use it. Why did it lose the Royal in the 70s? That seems a bit bizarre, but never mind. Right, Chris has just logged in, Chris Meads. What's your team going to be called tonight then, Chris? I've heard some things bandied about, but I don't know yet. You'll have to let me know. international quiz. My American husband would really appreciate some USA-focused questions. Okay, well, maybe for next week. We could do something on that line. Unfortunately, I'll have to put up with some very British questions for tonight, but never mind. There might be the odd US state or something knocked in there. You never quite know. I did have one last week, which was I did ask you if you flew direct from Rugby, which is where I am, which US state you would hit first on this line of going straight west. And basically, it would be Alaska. Surprisingly, I thought we'd hit the North American coast before we got to Alaska, but never mind. Right then, what's everybody been up to today then? Or what are you up to today? I've got my beer to hand. I went down the brewery first thing this morning to check on our Atomic Lockdown, which I brewed last week, and will be for sale this coming Friday for anybody that's interested. Atomic Lockdown back on the menu. We got through the whole lot last night. Some 1,600 pints disappeared in a matter of 3 weeks. So we need to, I had to brew again, and Lockdown will be ready again next week for all those interested. Walking and now eating a lovely roast. Ah, that sounds excellent. So you're doing the Sunday roast. So you're eating your Sunday roast at the same time as you're doing the quiz. That sounds good to me. Well, we did a lovely, well, the wife did a lovely Sunday roast today. I did help. I made the stuffing, but that was all I made. But, and I did the washing up and various other things. Well, they're claiming that I didn't do the washing up. Me and my daughter did the washing up, actually. Well, the dishwasher did most of it. We did the odd 2%, but never mind. Right then, where do we got to? How much longer have we got to? We've got another 9 minutes to waffle yet, but never mind. Let's see who else gets logged in. Mick and Bev Roberts have just logged in. Love to see you, Mick. How are things with thee? I trust all is well with you and Bev. Another part of a regular Sunday night Mafia quiz team that come in on a Sunday night to the Victoria Inn. We're called the Matron's Boys. Is that any reference to my wife, Chris? Be interesting. What are the rounds this week? Is asking Donna. Right then, Donna. Just let's go through them and just tell you what we are. We're starting off round number 1, as I'd mentioned slightly earlier. Just write down the letters. Sunday the 17th. That's SUNDAY 17TH. They are the initial letters and the initial numbers of the first letters of each of your answers. So the first one will start with an S, the second one with a U, and so forth. Round number 2 tonight is a trivia trail. Trivia trails are very easy. You take the last letter of your first answer, and it's the first letter of your next answer. Until you get to the bottom, which is obviously number 10, the last letter of number 10 is the first letter of answer number 1. So that's a trivia trail. I'll explain that as we go. Round number 3 is a 6-letter round. Very straightforward. All your answers are just 6 letters long. You can't go far wrong with that, can you? So if you put Liechtenstein down, it's clearly wrong. So basically, round number 3 is a 6-letter round where all the answers are just 6 letters long. Nice, easy one, that. Right, round number 4 basically is initial pairs. They're in alphabetical order, starting AA, and then a BB, and a CC, and then a DD. You'll get the idea as we go. Right, just a few people that have logged in. We've now had John O'Rourke and the famous 5 have logged in. Now everybody's in trouble. They're always there or thereabouts, top of the leaderboard somewhere. We've got Nicky Bowers has just signed in. We've got Faye's just signed in, thanks, Sorley. Brian Farmer and the Farmer Gang. What beer tonight, Nick? I'm on the Oakham Would-Be Kings. Well, I'm on Oakham something or other. I'm not quite sure. I think it's Citra, but it could be Kings. I don't know. But it's an Oakham's beer anyway. What the hell? Anthony Ridgway and the Ridgways have signed in all the way from sunny Welton. The Quizzy Rascals are now here. So let's there's some top competition last week from the Quizzy Rascals. Let's see whether they can retain their number 1 spot. Got Stephen Jill Pugh have just logged in from Cambridge, and they have a regular quiz team at their local, but I don't suppose they've been able to do the there's some noises coming from over here, some rather strange noises. Sounds like whoopee cushions. I'm not sure what's going on, but never mind. They're putting me off. But anyway, nice to see Stephen Gill have signed in. Right, where have we got to? We got to, oh yes, round number 4 was initial pairs. Basically, they're 2-word answers, starting AA, followed by a BB, followed by a CC, followed by a DD. You'll get the idea. So, for instance, DD might be Derek and the Dominoes or something like that. You'll get the idea. Round number 5 tonight is an initial letter link. That's the one where you have to work out the answer at the end. So you have 9 general knowledge questions, and question 10 asks you to take the first letters of your first 9 answers, rearrange them to spell the answer to question number 10. That's called an initial letter link. Very straightforward. Thomas Green, hi Nick. The week heart drops, first time out. Lovely to see you, Thomas. I hope all is well with you and your family. Let's see how you fare tonight. As I was just explaining, on round number 6 tonight is basically just general trivia, and typically tricky, tediously tricky trivia round tonight, with some very tricky trivia in the last round. So if you haven't done very well right up until round 5, or if you're in the lead in round 5 after 5 rounds, don't bank on being in the lead after round number 6, because it is some tricky trivia in the last round. Right, we've got Ian Miller. Bacardi Spice and Coke drink for me. Very nice. Jill Q, some of our team are taking part, but in competition, not cooperation with us. Oh, right, excellent. Oh, what, have you got the Giffords round tonight, or are they in a different house or something? But never mind. Chris Speaks just signed in. Nice to see you, Chris. So you got your team. I trust all is well with you and your family. They're the Giffords. So we've got Graham Gifford. Graham and Jane, they've also signed in from Cambridge. They're taking part as well tonight. So we've got Ruth Foster, Spoon, Fish, and the Greys have all signed in. So let's see how we all do tonight. Right, we have just 3 minutes to go before we start the quiz. I'll just quickly run through those rounds again. First round tonight is just entitled Sunday the 17th, where you have you take the first initials of Sunday the 17th, and they are the first letters of each of your answers in that order. Round number 2, again, basically is a trivia trial where you take the last letter of the first answer as the first letter of your next answer. Round number 3 tonight is basically a 6-letter round where all the answers start with 6 letters. So as I say, if you put Australia down as an answer, it's clearly wrong. It's not Australia or Liechtenstein. Round number 4 is basically a double letter round where all the answers are 2-word answers, and they start with initial letters AA. Number 2 is BB. Number 3 is CC. Number 4 is DD. Well, you'll get the idea with that. Leslie Barrett, buffering again, no feed at all at the moment. Oh, that's a shame. We've got some very good speed here, actually. I checked the speed tonight, 80 megabytes tonight. So it must be your connection, your end, Sif. See what, I don't know. You might have to just log out and log back in again. Tried a couple of times. I don't know where you live, Sif, but you must have a dreadful connection there, or a cheap connection, or both. Or it could be my connection, but never mind. Right. Tom Headley's just signed in. Evening, Tom. How are you? Okay, it's working now. Oh, excellent. Well done. Yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to just settle down the feed. It's not so easy. How's everybody else's feed today? I mean, have we got a clear picture? Do I need to do my hair again, or is it looking all right? Yes, right. Fine. Enough of that. Right, where are we? Let's get back to round number 1, which is Sunday the 17th. For all those that have just signed in, just write down on a piece of paper, your first piece of paper, top to bottom, Sunday 17TH. We are cool. Everybody seems to welcome to the lockdown UK quiz. Who, Lisa? Jackson, my theme's fine. Chilly Willy. Hello, Nick. Chilly Willy occasionally. Joe here. Nice to see you, Chilly. Hope all is right. I understood you lost your phone today, or broke your phone, or something went wrong with your phone. So you've made your laptop's all right, obviously, I trust. Never mind. Right, just a minute to go, and we'll start with the first round. The Crystal Methodists are here. That's a great sounding name, the Crystal Methodists. Well, let's see how you do with the 10 biblical questions we've got in there for you tonight, Keith. Thinking you specifically. Mark Gunston, 50 Shades of Grey. Is that what your team name is tonight? Who is occasionally Joe? Well, Joe occasionally turns up and helps Chilly Willy at the quiz. So whether he's in the other room or whether they're speaking to each other via some other means, I don't know. Right, it is now 2015, so it is time to kick off. Are we all ready? Pens poised? Have we got our phones in hand, ready to go? Little time between. Last week's pace was good. Little time between questions. Right. Well, I've been accused of going too fast on one or two rounds. There's some rounds I can go a bit faster than others. It depends whether you've got to work something out. So the initial letter link round, I will give you a bit more time, as I will with the final round. Here we go then. Starting with the letter S. Remember, your first 10 answers have got to spell out the word Sunday the 17th. So starting with the letter S. Question number 1. Which of the following is a 5-star holiday village situated in the New Forest National Park? I'll give you the choice. Is it Soaking Nuts, Sandy Balls, or Sunny Plums? So one of those is the correct answer. So which of the following is a 5-star holiday village situated in the New Forest National Park? I'll give you the choice. Is it Soaking Nuts, Sandy Balls, or Sunny Plums? Now it's easy one to get you going there. And we have got somebody just from the Royal Park doing the quiz tonight, so he should know the answer to that one. Question number 2 is a fairly old profession. Question number 2, starting with the letter U. What name is given to the craft which evolved over centuries for padding and covering chairs, seats, and sofas? So what name is given to the craft which evolved over many centuries for padding and covering chairs, seats, and sofas? They probably call it something different in the United States of America, but we'll see. The beer is very good tonight, as always. Right, question number 3 has got to start with the letter N. This is a 2-word answer I'm after. In which city, with a population in excess of 22 million, would you find Indira Gandhi International Airport? So question number 3 again, in which city with a population in excess of 22 million would you find Indira Gandhi International Airport? And it's a beautiful, big, new airport. I have been there myself. Very impressive. Question number 4, just going to throw a little bit of Shakespeare in for you. I hope our American and Canadian friends read Shakespeare. I'm sure they do. Question number 4, who is a Venetian beauty who enrages and disappoints her father, a Venetian senator, when she elopes with Othello? So question 4 again, who is a Venetian beauty who enrages and disappoints her father, a Venetian senator, when she elopes with Othello? That's just a 1-word answer. Nice, easy one. Sure, you'll be able to get that one. Question number 5, you might need to get your maps out for this one, but best to keep them in your pocket. Come on, use your brains, not particularly difficult. Well, it is for those people that live in perhaps the New Forest or Cambridge, or indeed America and Toronto. If you were to fly due east from Rugby, which is where I am, which is right in the middle of the country, that's of England. So if you were to fly due east from Rugby in Warwickshire, what is the first major city that you would fly over? You've got a letter, make it pay. So if you were to fly due east from Rugby in Warwickshire, what is the first major city that you would fly over? Ely doesn't count. It's a little bit further north than Rugby, and it's not a major city, and it doesn't start with the letter A. So don't bother putting that one down. Right, question number 6. This is for all our American friends. designated a World Heritage Site in 1984? In which North American national park would you recognize giant granite cliffs, waterfalls, and giant sequoias? So question 6 again, designated a World Heritage Site in 1984, in which North American national park would you recognize granite cliffs, waterfalls, and giant sequoias? That's another place I've been. Yep. Not with you, though, my love. Hey, I thought you'd like that one. So our Californian friends like that one. Oh, I've given another hint there, but never mind. Right, question number 7's got to start with the number 1, but it is a 2-digit answer. Question number 7, the game of Go is played on a grid of how many horizontal and vertical lines? It's an equal number of each, of course. So the game of Go is played on a grid of how many horizontal and vertical lines? I don't need you to add them up. Either take the horizontal number of lines or the vertical number of lines. They're the same. Very popular game in China, apparently. Right, question number 8. This has got to start with the number 7. What was the number of trombonists leading the parade in Wilson's musical, The Music Man? So what was the number of trombonists leading the parade in Wilson's musical, The Music Man? Pretty straightforward, that one. You'll have all have heard it. You just put the right answer down. It's been a nice warm day here today. I don't know what temperature it is in Canada or in California. Might like to enlighten us. It is exactly 22 degrees centigrade in my house at the moment, which is about the ambient temperature all the time. Never seems to alter too much. Question number 9. This is for all you cave dwellers. With a name derived from the Latin, what name is given to a prehistoric race of people that generally live in caves? So question number 9, with a name derived from the Latin, what name is given to a prehistoric race of people that generally lived in caves? Pretty straightforward, that one. And finally, question number 10. This has got to start with the letter H, which may help somewhat. And it's a tricky one, this. What one word connects the words black, cliff, and row? R-O-W. So what one word connects the words black, cliff, that's C-L-I-F-F, and row, R-O-W? Lydia's written that one down for you, so you can ponder that and see whether you can work it out. The answer begins with the letter H. H for hazard. Right, how are we doing with that round? Right, I'll give you a minute, and then we can do some marking after that. Pretty straightforward round. There's 1 and 2. I think the last one's probably the trickiest there. Here's mine. What's this? Who's got somebody popped up on Facebook or something? Ian Miller. What's he drinking there? What on earth is that? Looks dark. Can't see it. Never mind. Looks a good ale by any standard. What's that then you're drinking, Ian? I'll be interested. Right, tonight we've got 109 people taking part at the moment, 109 teams, and it's great to see you all. Do feel free, if any of you haven't subscribed to my video channel, YouTube channel, just click the little box that says subscribe. It then sends you a message prior to the quiz starting. So it just helps remind you that there's a quiz on a Wednesday or a Sunday night. Not that you'll be able to forget them after a few weeks, I'm sure. But never mind. I'm surprised you're all still watching this quiz, but never mind. People seem to enjoy taking part in a good old pub quiz. Right then, let's go back with the answers to the previous 10 questions. Here we go then, some marking. Number 1, which of the following is a 5-star holiday village situated in the New Forest? That was a place called Sandy Balls. So Sandy Balls, I'm sure most of you would have worked there. Number 2, that old craft was upholstery. Number 3, that capital city I wanted is New Delhi. Number 4, a fellow eloped with Desdemona, of course. Number 5, if you were to fly due east from Rugby, you would hit the major, well, it's a capital city, the city of Amsterdam. It's on exactly the same parallel as my house, which is absolutely amazing, but never mind. Number 6, designated a World Heritage Site. Where would you find which American national park? Would you recognise waterfalls, giant sequoias? That was Yosemite, of course. There's got to be the only one starts with the letter Y. In the game of Go, it's played on a grid of 19 by 19, so the number 19 was what I was after. What was the number of trombonists? Well, that was 76 trombones, of course, in the famous song, musical The Music Man. Number 9, person that lives in a cave or cave dwellers. They were known as troglodytes or troglodyte. And finally, number 10, what one word connects the words black, cliff and row? That was tricky. That was Heath, as in Heathrow, Heathcliff, and Blackheath. So that was a tricky one, Heath, but never mind. Right, Animal, let's get some scores in and see how you've done. Yellowstone. Well, it could have been Yellowstone, but it's not. It's Yosemite. Well done, Chilly Willy, in spotting that one, but clearly wrong. Right, we've got Brian Farmer of the gang with a good solid 8 to start off. Anthony Ridgway with a 9. We've got Donna Brown with an 8. Tweed up Michelle with a 9. We've got Chris Speak with an 8-ish. We've got Chilly Willy with a 9. With the Booby Prize Girls with an 8. We've got Sarah in with a 6. We've got the Rugby Road Club in with a 7. We've got Helen and Steve Valentine with an 8. Andrew Lewis with a 9. Very good. The Grey Spoonfisher with an 8. John W with a 5. I hope you got the first one, John. I hope you got the one about the yes, I hope you got the first one. Ian Miller with a 7, Mike Yates with a 7. We've got Martin Davis crashed and burned early with a 5. Oh dear. Squeaky Pod with a 9. We've got Carol Jackson with the Home Alone 6 with 8. We've got Grey's Opticians with 8. The Famous 5 with 7. Lisa Lasky 10 from the United States, and they want me to put more US questions in. I don't believe that for a minute. They don't need any US questions. Jill Pugh with an 8. Mike Roberts with a 6. Graham Gifford with a 9. Very good there. We've got, sorry, where have we got to? Craig Gifford with an 9. Mark Gannerton with an 8. We've got Grey's Opticians with an 8. Crystal Methodists with an 8. We've got Stuart Colwell with an 8. The Foreskins with an 8. We've got Paula Lewis and the Quizzy Rascals on 9. Thomas Crenigan, the Weak Heart Drops on a 7. Alex Brown on a 9. Harry Cage and the Gang on an 8. Owen Edwards on a 6. What else have we got? Sorry, have I not? It's going off my screen as fast as I type it. Never mind. Don Quizuti with a very respectable 8. We've got Leslie Barrett, alias Sif, with a feeble 7. We've got Matron's Boys on 9. Robert Crinigan with an 8. Very good. Pick and Mix with a 7. Mickey Bowers with a 7. Great White with an 8. Jill Pugh, 4 pews, and what's that? 4 pews and the Chung. Oh, I can't read that. Never mind. With a 9. With a 9. Nicky Bowers, a dreadful 5. Oh dear. Chris Pickard with a very good and respectable 8. Right, round number 2 then. There's some good scores in there. Only one team with a 10 out of 10. They're our friends from California. I'm sure they won't be able to keep the pace up though. Let's see how we fare with round number 2. Round number 2 is basically a trivia trail where you take the first letter of your first answer, and it's the last letter of your first answer is the first letter of your next answer. Right then, number 1 begins with a little bit of literature. Eyes down, look in. Here we go then. Published from 1945 to 1953 and continued from 1973 to 2002, Demelza is the second novel in which Winston Graham's series of historical books. It's just a one-word answer I'm after. So published from 1945 to 1953 and then continued from 1973 to 2002, Demelza is the second novel in which Winston Graham's series of historical books. Does any help? I think they're into series 4 on the BBC. Or I don't think. Was it ITV? It was on ITV. A very popular series on ITV. Most people couldn't watch it because they were doing my quiz apparently on a Sunday night, but never mind. Question number 2. This is really to rub salt into the wounds if you didn't get number 1. Do take the last letter of your first answer because it's the first letter of this composer. Question number 2. The ballet Spartacus, which premiered in 1956, is a well-known classical work. But what is the surname of the 20th century Armenian who composed it? That again is a one-word answer I'm after. So the ballet Spartacus, which premiered in 1956, is a well-known classical work. But what is the surname of the 20th century Armenian who composed it? I'm sure you'll all have heard of that. You might not know the answer, but I'm sure you'll all have heard of it. Right, take the last letter of that and put it down for the first letter of question number 3. This is one our American friends may struggle on unless they are avid followers of the news. Question number 3. What was the name given to the nerve agent which was responsible for the poisoning of Sergei and Yulia Skripal in Salisbury in 2018? I've put odd there instead of oddly. You don't need to change that, do you? So what was the name given to the nerve agent which was responsible for the poisoning of Sergei and Yulia Skripal in Salisbury in 2018? Does any help? It wasn't polonium. That was somebody else. That's a one-word answer, beginning, of course, with the last letter of the previous answer. So you've had 3 particularly tricky ones. Well, I think they're tricky anyway, so we'll see how you fare with question number 4. Question number 4. What is an American multinational food manufacturing company headquartered in Battle Creek, Michigan? Everybody will have heard of that one. Just think of probably one of the biggest multinational food companies the States have got. Right then, if you've really been missing out on this round so far, question number 5 may help get you back on track. Question number 5, a rival to Barbie, what name was given to a British fashion doll created by Pedigree Dolls and Toys in 1963? So a rival to Barbie, what name was given to a British fashion doll created by Pedigree Dolls and Toys in 1963? And it was very popular because I had one. So here. That's saying something. Right then, that's a one-word answer, of course. Take the last letter of that doll, and it gives you the first letter of this colour. Question number 6. Known as E102, what colour is the synthetic dye tartrazine, a very common food colouring? So known as E102, what colour is the synthetic dye tartrazine, a very common food colouring? Do remember that answer starts with the last letter of number 5. Question number 7. Remember, take the last letter of number 6, that colour, and it's the first letter of number 7. Question number 7. Rising in the village of Wishenset, I think that's right. Rising in the village of Wishenset in Norfolk, which river passes Carrow Road, the home of Norwich City FC? So rising in the village of Wishenset in Norfolk, which river passes Carrow Road, the home of Norwich City FC? Remember to use your letters. So you need to take the last letter of that colour. That will help you with the name of the river. I'm sure most people should have heard of that one. Right, number 8. Number 8, again, take the last letter of number 7. Which country has been ruled by the Grimaldi dynasty for over 700 years? It also happens to be the most densely populated sovereign state in the world. So question 8, which country has been ruled by the Grimaldi dynasty for over 700 years? It also happens to be the most densely populated sovereign state in the world. Again, a one-word answer. Yeah, this is not an easy round. Never mind. Stay there. See how you fare. Take the last letter of that sovereign state, and it's the first letter of number 9. Number 9, which regular polygon has internal angles of exactly 135 degrees? So which regular polygon has internal angles of exactly 135 degrees? That's 135 degrees each because there's a number of them. And finally, number 10. Nice, easy one to finish you off. What name is given to a drink taken shortly before bedtime? For example, a small alcoholic drink or glass of warm milk, supposedly to promote a good night's sleep. It is a one-word answer, starting with the last letter of your previous answer. You take the last letter of that answer, and it is the first letter of number 1, the answer number 1. So what name is given to a drink taken shortly before bedtime? For example, a small alcoholic drink or glass of warm milk, supposedly to promote a good night's sleep. Oh dear, I've got the hiccups. Never mind. Right, have you been putting all the answers down, Lids? Yes, good. I mean, not the answers. She's been putting the questions down. That's more like it. We don't want to give everybody the answers already. Surely not. Right, I'll give you a minute to work those out, especially if you're in teams. You might need to talk a bit between each other to try and work that out. Do remember the last letter of each answer is the first letter of your next answer, all the way through to number 10. The last letter of number 10 is the first letter of number 1. What's that, Liz? Right then, this afternoon, of course, I was, besides doing my quiz and sorting a few quiz questions out, trying to make them easier or harder, depending what mood I felt in. I was out trying to measure up. When we had the house built, I never had any guttering fitted to my house, and wife's been whittling on it there about getting guttering finished. So I've been out there measuring up to try and find out where on earth I can put the guttering, if that makes any sense. Problem is, I've got an aluminium roof, and the aluminium cladding covers all the woodwork underneath, and I don't know where any of the joists are, so I've got to basically take off some of the metal cladding to get it, see where all the joists are, so that I've got a fixing to put my guttering in. It's no good just sticking it into a bit of aluminium, it'll just drop off. Right, Keith wants me to slow down. Ian wants me to speed up. I'm sure you're all right, because you do. It is a bit quick, Joe. Okay, I will slow down. I'll give you a minute to work this out. It's not a problem. I know it's difficult when you're doing a trivia trial, certainly. when you get about 4 or 5 and then you start working them backwards, it's actually quite good. 80 meg. Is that the speed you've got, Mark? That's very good. Yeah, I was getting about that earlier. It's not too bad. I mean, I think they have improved internet speeds. There's no doubt at all about that. Prior planning prevents poor performance. Martin, I know prior planning prevents piss poor performance, but I'm sure I'm sure you after your first round. Yeah, I don't know whether that's a particularly good thing to say. I don't know. Are you lot making your mind up? Have you made your mind up, Roy? Are you happy enough to? I'll tell you what. I'll give you another minute, and then we'll mark that round. I can hear dings and dongs going on my wife's phone. They're not happy about all the answers yet, so I'll give you another 30 seconds, and then we'll do some marking. Okay. It's either that or I'll take a bit of more time during the questions, but some of the rounds, especially the trivia trail and the initial letter link, which is a little bit lighter, as you've got to work something out, it just takes that little bit more time. How's the weather been out? Let's just take a straw poll. I mean, it's been very iffy here today. We've had cloud, we've had sun, we've had cloud, we've had sun. It wasn't quite enough to charge my car up fully today, but it was enough to, well, I got a good 60 miles back in the tank today. But never mind. Googling doesn't take this long. You're right, Stuart, it doesn't. Right, okay then. I think that's probably about time up for this round. I will take the next round a little steadier, okay, for you all. Right, here we go then. The initial letter link. We started off. Published, the Winston Graham, of course, was famous for the Poldark novels. It was the Poldark novels. Demelza, of course, was Poldark's wife, if you knew that. Poldark was the one-word answer. That gave you the K for the ballet Spartacus. That was a tricky one. The guy's name was Khachkurian. That was a tricky one. He was a 20th century Armenian composer. That gave you the N for that poison, which was responsible for the poisoning of Sergei and Yulia Skripal. That was Novichok, ending with a K, which gave you the K for that food company, which of course is Kellogg's. It's one of the USA's largest food manufacturers. Kellogg's. That gave you the S for the Cindy doll, of course, the rival to Barbie. Cindy gave you the Y for the colour yellow, which I'm sure you'll all have got. That gave you the W for the River Wensum, which runs past Carrow Road. Well done if you got that. That's a bit tricky. Not for you Norfolk folk, you'll get that one. That gave you the M in turn for that state, which was ruled by the Grimaldi dynasty of Monaco, of course. That gave you the O for the regular polygon and octagon. Not so difficult if you got the letter. That gave you the N for a nightcap, which in turn took you all the way back to number 1 with the P for Poldark. We're missing Eurovision. Yeah, I missed it last night, goal in the head. I was quickly trying to switch over from anything but Eurovision last night. Dear God. It's not on again tonight, is it, Chile? It's bad enough every year, let alone. Right, we've got some scores in. We've got Don Quixote with 17. Sarah's catching up now a little bit with 14. Very good. Chili Willy plus 9 on 18. We've got Sif on 16. We've got Carol Jackson Home Alone on 17. We've got Rugby Road Club on 17. Mike Yates on 14. Stuart's on 16. We've got Roger Rivers on 15. Famous Fiver on 16. Graham Giffen on 15. Helen and Steve Valentine on 16. Michelle Gibbons on 17. We've got Donna Brown on 14. Chris Speak, we have no forking idea. Right, we've got Ian Miller on 14. Andrew Lewis on 17. The Fish and Chip Boys on 17. We've got Squeaky Bob on 18. Farmers Old and New on 15. Gillian Hughes on 16. Gillian Hughes on 17. Anthony Ridgway on 16. Mick Roberts on 13. John on 11. Martin Davis, Morgan News, a good 11. Well done, Martin. Harry and Julie and Ian are on 15. We've got Lisa now on 16. They didn't do so well that time. Never mind. Oh dear, Chris Speaks on they're going off the screen now. Hang on. Sorry. Let's bring them back again. So we've got Nikki Bowers on 11. Oh dear. Chris Speak, 18. That's pretty good, Chris. Paula Lewis and the Quizzy Rascals, 18. Great score. We've got Jackie Skip on 15. Ian Townsend and the Foreskins are on 15. We've got Thomas Crinigan with Weak Heart drops on 14. Mark Gavin on 15. Very good, Mark. Gray's Opticians on 16. Pick a Mixer on 15. Owen Edwards on 11. We've got Alex Brown on 16. Jen Coulson on 10. The kids, what's that, have worn us out today. Chris Meads and the Matrons boys are on 18. Robert Crinigan with a fantastic 16. Jill Pugh with 17. Keith Abbott and the Methodists, they're on 15 3/4. Great White and the Spodes on 16 points. Yes. 3/4, yes. Come on, Keith. Play the game. Right then, round number 3 is very straightforward. This is a 6-letter round where all the answers are just 6 letters long. So if you haven't got a 6-letter answer, you must have it wrong, or else I've got it wrong, one or the other. So it's pretty straightforward. All the answers 6 letters long. I'll take it steady, but we don't need a lot of speed on this one. I don't think we need to be too cautious with speed. Right, are we ready? No, we've got, sorry, scores are still coming in. We've got Great White with the Spodes on 16, Chris Pickard with 15. Some great scores there. So we've got 18s, a few 18s. I don't think we've got any full scores at the moment, but 18s. That was a tricky round, as was the first round. But still some very good scores. Right, here we go then. Question 1. The artists Gauguin and Van Gogh spent time living together in which European country? They did actually live in the capital city together, but I won't tell you what that is. So the artists Gauguin and Van Gogh spent time living together in which European country? Remember, it's got to have a 6-letter answer. It narrows it down a bit even. I'm glad you're enjoying the Oakham, Kate. Nice to see you here tonight. How you're all faring okay, aren't you? How's the family? Are you all together at long last doing this quiz? Are you still texting each other via Zoom or Messenger or Facebook or something? I don't know how you're playing the quiz. Oh, yeah, well, right, question number 2. Interesting. Listen carefully. Yeah, Gauguin. Question number 2. The 1900 Olympic Games held in Paris, Keith knows this one well because we had a question on this one before, had a long jump event especially designed for what type of animals? And that is a plural. So the 1900 Olympic Games held in Paris had a long jump event especially designed for what type of animals? Well, think about it. It's not going to be elephants, is it? Or giraffes. Got to be a popular animal. It's hardly likely to be goats either. What's that? If you don't know where to earth to put the glittering, it's too low. Nice one, Clive. Thanks, Clive. I can see a little cynical jibe at my guttering. If you don't know where on earth to put the guttering, it's too low. Thanks, Clive. I'll have you round to come and help me put it up. Right, question number 3, also a 6-letter answer. Written in 1880 by Russian composer Tchaikovsky, the 1812 overture was written to celebrate the defeat of Napoleon in which city? So written in 1880 by Russian composer Tchaikovsky, the 1812 overture was written to celebrate the defeat of Napoleon in which city? Yes, you can put some silly answers down to the long jump event at the Paris Olympic Games. We've got cats, rabbits, and frogs. Frogs would do well, I suppose. Yeah, frog jumping competition. Could be snail jumping, but I don't think they can jump. Perhaps it was a flea jumping competition. Question number 4. Nice, easy one, this. Remember, just 6-letter answers. In the game of chess, what is the only piece able to jump over other pieces? So in the game of chess, what is the only piece able to jump over other pieces? Sorry, Lisa, what she put? City, it was written in, or city of defeat? Now, that's a good question. That is a very good question. I presume it was about the city of defeat, where they defeated Napoleon. Sorry, I'm just looking for something. Right, question number 5. Dead easy, this one. Chinaman, flipper, and rabbit are all terms used in which sport? So not an easy one there. Chinaman, flipper, and rabbit are all terms used in which sport? I'm sure you'll all get that one. Question number 6. This is dedicated to Keith's team, the Methodists. So question number 6. Mentioned in the 26th book of the Old Testament, which king had Daniel thrown into the lion's den? Come on, it's all, you all did that at school, I'm sure. If you ever went to Sunday school, I was dragged there for many years. So mentioned in the 26th book of the Old Testament, which king had Daniel thrown into the lion's den? Oh, yes. Well spotted. I was waiting for one clever person to come up with that one, and Stuart Cope clearly pointed that one out. Well done, Stuart. I think I made a mistake when I asked that question at the quiz before. You just, I was waiting for somebody clever enough to point out the deliberate mistake, but never mind. Question number 5 is in fact 7 letters long, just in case you thought they were all 6 letters. I've obviously made a mistake on that one. Yes, well spotted, Chilly Willy. You weren't the first, but the second. Or maybe you were the first. Let's not argue about it. Question number 5 is 7 letters long, just to confuse everybody in this 6-letter long round. Never mind, just shows the best of us can make mistakes, obviously. I once would have proved school. Oh dear. Right, question number 7. This is a little easier. First published in 1871, The Descent of Man is a book written by which famous English naturalist? So first published in 1871, The Descent of Man is a book written by which famous English naturalist? Yeah, I think I made a mistake. I did, definitely. I've had this round before at some time in the past, some quiz I did, or something like this anyway, and I got that one wrong last time. I must highlight it and flag it in red so I don't get it right for the next time round. It's good to see that people can actually check your answers though as you go, and yes, random number of letters round. I'm counting them all now, you see, as I'm going, just to make sure I'm right on the rest of them. Question number 8 for all you Dad's Army fans. It was on VE Day, this was. Well, it wasn't, but never mind. Question number 8. In the classic BBC sitcom Dad's Army, what was Captain Mannering's first name? His wife was Elizabeth, just in case you want to know. But in the classic BBC sitcom Dad's Army, what was Captain Mannering's first name? Yes, his wife never appeared in any of the episodes apparently, but she was mentioned. But I'm not asking that question. Martin hashtag. Oh dear. Right, question number 9. Or am I going too fast? I think we're all keeping up with this round. What is the only sign of the zodiac that contains none of the letters of the word school? So question 9 again. What is the only sign of the zodiac that contains none of the letters of the word school? And that is a 6-letter answer. Just to help you, it's not a 7-letter, not 5 letters, it's 6 letters. Actually, I've got that lamp in the wrong position. My wife and my daughter said it was in the right position, but I've got a shadow behind my head, which I shouldn't have. No, it's all right. And finally, question number 10. In this 6-letter answer round, with the exception of question number 5, what is the only word in the English language that ends in the letters M and T? So what is the only word in the English language that ends in the letters MT? There we have it. Right then, I'll give you a minute. You can work those out, see how you've got on. Do remember, question number 5, I was just testing to make sure you were paying attention. I'm going to adjust the angle of the lamp in front of me. And, I'm just wondering whether you could watch something in the meantime. I know. You can watch my beer to make sure Chris Meads doesn't drink it. There it is. Just watch my beer for a second. Right then. That's better. Yeah. It's all about, see, positioning of the lighting is very important. Right, we've got 111 followers tonight, or people taking part in the quiz. And I think that's probably a record actually, but it's lovely to see you all. I hope you're all faring well in this lockdown. I expect 1 or 2 of you, or a number of you, have gone back to work. 1 or 2 of you, of course, have been at work all the time, never stopped. But we'll see. But whether he's right to ease things back as he has been doing, I don't know. But we've got to get back to normality sooner or later, I suppose. But how the hell do we do it? Never mind. I hope we're all enjoying a Sunday night quiz at Saturday. Right then, are we ready for the answers? Cannot wait. Well done, Martin. Right, here we go then. I cannot wait for the answers. Right, here we go then. The artists Gauguin and Van Gogh spent time living together in which European country? Well, they spent time together in Paris. So the answer to that is France, of course. Number 2, the 1900 Olympic Games held in Paris had a long jump event, especially designed for horses. Well done if you worked that one out. Number 3, written in 1880 by Russian composer Tchaikovsky. The 1812 Overture was written to celebrate the defeat of Napoleon in Moscow. Number 4, in the game of chess, what is the only piece able to jump over the other pieces? That, of course, is the knight. Number 5 is the one which is just a 7-letter answer. I was just expecting somebody to catch me out with that one. Chinaman, flipper, and rabbit are all terms used in the game of cricket. Number 6, mentioned in the 26th book of the Old Testament, which king had David thrown into the lion's den? That was difficult unless you go to church regularly. That was Darius. Darius. Well done if you got that. Number 7, first published in 1871, The Descent of Man is a book written by which famous naturalist? That, of course, was Darwin. Number 8, in the classic BBC sitcom Dad's Army, What was the name of Captain Mannering's first? Sorry, what was Captain Mannering's first name? He was better known as George. George. Number 9. What is the only sign of the zodiac that contains none of the letters of the word school? That, of course, is Gemini. And finally, number 10. What is the only word in the English language that ends in the letters M and T? It's the word dreamt. Dreamt. I dreamt I was somewhere else. So well done if you got all those. I think the last one was particularly tricky, and Darius was particularly tricky. But other than that, I think we should have a few good 8 out of 10s. Right, we have Chilly Willy plus 10. Plus 10. You managed to get Darius. I can't believe that, Chilly Willy. But never mind. Excellent 28. That's superb. Chris Speak with a 28. We've got Helen and Steve on 25. We've got Sarah on 22. John's on 19. There is also Undreamt, right, but that's not 6 letters. Michelle with 25. We've got Leslie with 25. We've got Andrew Lewis with 26. We've got, oh, God, where am I going to? Sorry. We've got Leslie Barrett, hence SIF. We're 25. We've got Andrew Lewis with 26. Roger Griffiths with 22. Nick Roberts with 18. Martin Davis with 19. We've got Great White. We need answers 1 and 6. There at the bottom of the page there for you, Great White. Thomas Grimley at the top of the page. We've got Thomas Grimley with the weak heart dropped on 21. We've got Home Alone on 25. Anthony Ridgway 24. We've got Foreskins even on 22. We've got Mark Gannington on 20. Famous 5 on a very respectable 25. We've got Matron's Boys on 28. Great White on 24. We've got the Crystal Methodists on 25 3/4. Is that a platform number? No, it's not. We've got Ray's Opticians on 24. Jill Pugh on 25. Great White, We're Okay. Paula Lewis with 3 laughs. We've got Martin Din. I've done well getting 100 peeps. Yes, you have done very well. Stick at it, Martin. I'm sure you're doing really well. Right then, round number 4 tonight. Round number 4 is initial pairs, A to J. They're all 2-word answers. Write down AA, BB, CC, DD, all the way down until you get to J. And 2-word answers. Number 1 starts with an AA. Number 2 starts with a BB. Number 3 starts with a CC. You get the idea. Dead easy, all right? And they're giveaways, these, I'm sure. So, 10 straightforward answers, 2-word answers, all of them, starting AA, BB, CC. So we start off with AA. Question number 1. Are we ready? What organisation was founded in 1935 by Bill Wilson and Bob Smith in Akron, Ohio, whose stated purpose is to enable its members to stay sober? I'll drink to that. So what organisation was founded in 1935 by Bill Wilson and Bob Smith in Akron, Ohio, whose stated purpose is to enable its members to stay sober? It's a 2-word answer, and it starts A and A. I'm sure we got the answer. Not too difficult, that one. Question number 2 is a bit trickier. Which actor is known for his booming voice and his roles in Z-Cars, I, Claudius, Blackadder, and Flash Gordon? That's a 2-word answer, starting B and B. He was a big Shakespearean actor as well, I think, because of his booming voice. So which actor is known for his booming voice and his roles in Z-Cars, I, Claudius, Blackadder, and Flash Gordon? Pretty straightforward, that one, surely. I would have struggled, I have to say. But the letters give it away. Question number 3 tonight. Sure, we had a question about this last week, but never mind. Forming part of a World Heritage Site, what is one of the oldest and most famous Christian structures in England? Bugs Bunny. He ain't got a booming voice, hasn't he, Bugs Bunny? Could have been Bart Benson, I suppose. But Right, question number 3 again even. Forming part of a World Heritage Site, what is one of the oldest and most famous Christian structures in England? Question number 4 is dead easy. Dead easy. Codenamed Operation Neptune, what other name was given to the largest seaborne invasion in history? So, codenamed Operation Neptune, what other name was given to the largest seaborne invasion in history? You've got the letters, make it pay. Pretty straightforward, that one. You're struggling with that one, Ange. Can't be that hard. God, blimey. Beer is empty. Damn, I've got to wait till another half round before I can get a refill. Never mind. I better send the wife over. She can't answer that one. No, she's. Oh, wait a minute. She's getting some help coming. Could be Chris Meads. Right, question number 5. Now, this is tricky. I like to think of rugby for this one. That may help. So, what was a British industrial manufacturer formed after the armistice of World War I by amalgamating 5 businesses which, during the war, had been making munitions, armaments, and aeroplanes? Dark Destroyer, like that one. So, what was a British industrial manufacturer formed after the armistice of World War I by amalgamating 5 businesses which, during the war, had been making munitions, armaments, and aeroplanes? I did give a slight clue there. You might like to think of rugby. Sorry for all those folk from California. That doesn't really help, does it? But never mind. And question number 6, we're going back to another foreign country, but never mind. Nothing to do with the States, unfortunately. Question number 6. Again, this starts F and F. So, what French term is reserved for unripened cheese that has undergone a mostly lactic fermentation? So, what French term is reserved for unripened cheese that has undergone a mostly lactic fermentation? I used to live in Coventry, but still don't know. Yes, you do. Well, you'll have heard of it. You've got the letters E and E, Lisa. Just come on. It's got to be a British company or ex-British company. Right then, number 7 starts G and G. 2-word answer, of course. Question number 7. Who was runner-up to Will Young in the first series of the ITV talent show Pop Idol? Pop Idol, Pop Idol, Pop Idol, Pop Idol. Sorry. So, who was runner-up to Will Young in the first series of the ITV talent show Pop Idol? Oh dear. I've got nothing to put in my right hand here. I've got an empty glass. It's not doing any good. Never mind. We'll soon get to the end of this round. I better speed up. What's that? Oh, I see. Oh, that's all right. Oh, no, I'll definitely knock it over on the table there. Graham Gifford. Yes, of course. It could be Graham Gifford. He's playing tonight. Yes, we've got some other suggestions. Could be Graham Gifford. He's playing tonight, so he could have been the runner-up to Will Young. Could be Gary Glitter. That's another good one. Anybody else? Anybody else got any suggestions for wrong answers? Right, question number 8 then. Number 8, who was an American engineer, businessman, and politician who served as the 31st president of the United States of America from 1929 to 1933 during the Great Depression? That, of course, is an HH. That's for all our American friends that think I don't give them any American questions. So who was an American engineer, businessman, and politician who served as the 31st President of the United States from 1929 to 1933 during the Great Depression? George Galloway, there's a good one. There it could be John Greenish. Some great ones there. Who's that? Gary Gilmore. It could be. That's some good ones there. Giuseppe Garibaldi. Oh dear, oh dear. You see how easy it is to make these questions up. Did he suck? I beg your pardon. Question number 9. Listen carefully. Got to start with the letter I. 2-word answer. Traditionally called the Heptanese. What is a group of 7 Greek islands, one of which is known in English as Corfu? So traditionally called the Heptanese, what is a group of 7 Greek islands, one of which is known in English as Corfu? Yes, he did. Well done, Martin. That's actually quite funny. Don't give it away. Don't give the game away. You remember this 2-word answer? Aye. As in, aye, Captain. And finally, question number 10. This is a JJ, remember. Born in 1847 and raised in the Little Dixie area of western Missouri. Another US question. Who was an American outlaw, bank, and train robber? So born in 1847 and raised in the Little Dixie area of western Missouri. Who was an American outlaw, bank, and train robber? He was a nasty bit of work, apparently, but never mind. He was just collecting dust. Oh dear, oh dear. I think we've had quite a few quips on the HH. Oh, well done. My daughter's leapt to my rescue and is now replenishing my glass. Oh, that looks good. Soon to be full. Thank you, Mother. I'm still using my Cambridge Beer Festival glass. Unfortunately, it seems to be the only pint glass I've got to hand in the last week or two, but never mind. I'll have to dig out a few more. I have lots somewhere, but never mind. I'll have to try and find my Worcester Beer Festival glass. Oh, I didn't have one. No, I probably left it in Worcester or lost it. Oh, I gave up buying them then, did I? Oh, apparently I didn't buy one then. Hello from Norfolk and Chance, joining for the first time. Hello to you. Have you joined halfway through the quiz, or have you joined kind of... well, we'll see. Right then, let's just go over those answers. Do we need any more time, or are we happy with me going through those? Anybody out there? Anybody want any more time, or have we had enough time to just do some marking? Oh dear, gets worse. Right then, yes, there's some jokes going on the side here. You got to know what the answers are to understand the jokes half of them, but never mind. Right, question number 1 then. What organisation was founded in 1935? That, of course, was the one and only Alcoholics Anonymous. Wife's been trying to drag me off there for years, but never been successful. Number 2, the actor I was after was a guy called Brian Blessed. Brian Blessed. Well done if you got that. Number 3, forming part of a World Heritage Site. What is the oldest and most famous Christian structures in England? That, of course, we had last week was Canterbury Cathedral. Canterbury Cathedral. Codenamed Operation Neptune. This is one my wife was struggling with. What other name was given to the largest seaborne invasion in history? That, of course, was D-Day. D-Day, as in the D-Day landings. Number 5, what was a British industrial manufacturer formed after the armistice of World War I? It was particularly associated with rugby. It was called English Electric. English Electric. Well done if you got that. Number 6, I was after fromage frais, that French term. Number 7, the runner-up to Will Young, of course, it wasn't Gary Glitter. It wasn't that man from Cambridge, Mr. Gifford. It was, in fact, Gareth Gates. Well done if you got Gareth Gates. Number 8, of course, the butt of quite a few humorous jokes on here. Did he suck? It was Herbert Hoover. So, yes, he probably did suck at the time, but never mind. Number 9, traditionally called the Heptanese. It is the Ionian Islands I was after, the Ionian Islands. Well done if you got that. And final, number 10, of course, was Jesse James, that bank robber, outlaw, train robber, murderer, whatever else he was done. He was a nasty bit of work, but they caught up with him in the end. But he became a folk hero. Right then, let's see what scores we've got. Wasn't it Overlord D-Day? Well, apparently it was Operation Neptune. I don't know. I will check, Nikki, just to make sure. Can't remember Operation. Oh, I can remember. Let's have some scores in anyway, see how we're doing. Battle of Normandy, it was, wasn't it? Operation Overlord. Operation was a code name for Battle of Normandy, the Allied operation. Yeah, no, it was Operation Overlord. Yes, also known as Operation Overlord. Oh dear, never mind. Yes, also known as Operation Overlord. I don't know where I got Neptune from, but I'm sure that was probably the name of the code name as well. And they probably had lots of code names, as it was so secret they didn't want the Germans to know. So they kept calling it different names and probably plucked one out of a hat in the end. Right, let's just go back over the scores, see how we're doing. We have, the scores came in. We have Chilly Willy on 38. That's got to be a score to beat. We've got the Rugby Road Club on 36. Mike Yates, very respectable, 27. John on 29, 27. Michelle, 35. Great score there. The Farmers Old and New on 32. We've got Helen and Steve Valentine on 35. We've got Carol Jackson and the gang. Home Alone 6 on 35. John O'Rourke, the famous 5 on 35. Ian Townsend and the Foreskins are on 32. Don Quixote on a very respectable 34. Great White and Tio and Chepstow, 34 points. We've got Graham Gifford on 32 points from Cambridge. You've got Chris Peake, 38 points. Very good indeed. Pick a Mix on 32. Got Harry Cage on 34. We've got Donna Brown, me and Matt on 29.5 points. Anthony Ridgway out there with the Ridgways on 34 points. Squeaky Bob on 34 points. Roger Griffiths on 30.5. We've got Mick Roberts on 27 points. Sarah's on 30 points. Stuart Colwell, 32. We got Sif on 35 points. We've got Ruth Foster, Spoonfish in the Greys on 34 points. Alex Brown on 36. Lisa Lasky on 30, working their way back into it. Andrew Lewis on 36. Very good score there. We got Paula Lewis and the Quizzy Rascals on 38. Chris Gallagher, Neptune was the Seabourn operation. Yeah, okay. Yes, okay. Right, we'll have I need to look that up a bit more, but never mind. Mark Garrington on 26. We've got Jill Pugh and Steve on 33 points. Alex Brown on 34 points. Overlord was the whole thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, enough of the Overlord, whatever. We've got Jill Pugh, 34. Then we've got the Crystal Methodists on 35 and 3/4. Yeah, okay. Normally, all right, okay. Blimey, we're all going about Normandy landings. Neptune, Seabourn, Overlord was the overall thing, and D-Day was what it was commonly known as in the end, of course. Right, okay. I'll try and be a bit more accurate and definite next time. Right then, next round tonight, round number 5. We've got 2 rounds left. Initial letter link. This might sort a few out. Basically, I ask you 9 general knowledge questions, where question 10 asks for a link between the, well, it doesn't. It asks you to rearrange the first letters of the first words in the previous 9 answers to rearrange the name, and I ask you a question, basically, so you need to write them down. So, question number 1, let's start off with that. Day, I mean. Yeah. No, I was trying to find out whether it was Day, but never mind. Question number 1. Here we go then. What is the only vowel that doesn't appear in the topmost of the 3 rows of letters on a standard keyboard? So pretty straightforward, that one. What is the only vowel that doesn't appear in the topmost of the 3 rows on the letters of a standard keyboard? Well, I think all quizzers need to know that. Comes up quite regularly, doesn't it? Right, got beer back in hand now, so I'm happy for the whole round. Question number 2. The car manufacturer Saab was founded in 1945 in which Northern European country? So question 2 again. The car manufacturer Saab was founded in 1945 in which Northern European country? So do remember to take the first letter of that answer and put it to one side so that, because I will ask you to rearrange the letters in the answers. Question number 3. This will suit, who's it going to suit? Martin Davis? Yes, definitely. He's into his electrics. Question number 3, nice easy one. Harmonised mains cable colouring was introduced across the European Union in 2004. Prior to that date, what colour was used to indicate the live conductor in the United Kingdom? So question number 3, harmonised mains cable colouring was introduced across the European Union in 2004. Prior to that date, what colour was used to indicate the live conductor in the United Kingdom? Of course, now we're outside the EU, we could reintroduce the old colour coding. That would mean that houses with very old wiring, you'd never know because the colour hasn't changed. Does that make any sense? No, probably not. I just saw the answer to number 4 and I was laughing, thinking, what the hell's that question? But never mind. Question number 4. What was the Christian name of an American film actress and the wife of the 40th President of the United States, who served as First Lady from 1981 to 1989? So question 4 again. I haven't probably worded that quite very well, but never mind. You get the idea of it. I need her first name. What was the Christian name of an American film actress and the wife of the 40th President of the United States, who served as First Lady from 1981 to 1989? She was quite a belle, apparently. Yeah. Bit old for me, obviously, but come on. Question number 5, again, a good one for all you quizzes. You need to know these. What is the lowest region of the Earth's atmosphere called? It extends from the Earth's surface to a height of about 6 and 10 kilometers. So what is the lowest region of the Earth's atmosphere? It extends from the Earth's surface to a height of about 6 to 10 kilometers. Yes, well done, Martin. You've obviously got the answer to that one then. Her husband told some great jokes, and he did. He was probably one of the wittiest of all US presidents of all time. He made many a good speech. Question number 6, another American question. I'm surprised you Americans aren't winning this quiz hands down. It must be, what is it now? It's 1:20 in California for all those that want to know. It's 23 minutes past 1. Well, 24 minutes past 1 actually, but never mind. Right, question number 6. Who was the first Hollywood actress to demand and receive a fee of $1 million for her lead role in the 1963 film Cleopatra? Two-word answer I'm after. So who was the first Hollywood actress to demand and receive a fee of $1 million for her lead role in the 1963 film Cleopatra? Probably too many saga questions in here for Keith, but never mind. He's fast approaching the age where he'll be getting his little letter through the letterbox. Saga letter, as I did. You hit a certain age and you start getting all these emails from Saga. Has everybody noticed that? All you people over a certain age, suddenly get these letters from Saga Insurance. Question number 7. Weighing in at 105.6 carats, this is one for John and O'Rourke and the gang, and part of the British Crown Jewels, what type of gemstone is the Kohinoor? So weighing in at 105.6 carats and part of the British Crown Jewels, what type of gemstone is the Kohinoor? Nikki Bowers, yes, she gets it. They keep trying to sell me stairlifts. Nice one, Steph. But you, like me, will probably need one sooner or later. Well, I won't need one because I live in a bungalow. But yes, quite. Anybody else get silly saga letters through the post all the time? I suppose if you only got to send it to half the population, it makes it easy, doesn't it? Question number 8 for all you scientists. Here we go. I haven't had a good science question for a while. Commonly used in street lighting, what soft, silvery white, highly reactive metal is used in the orange gas discharge lamps? Although not so much now because they're replacing them all with LEDs, of course. So commonly used in street lighting, what soft, silvery white, highly reactive metal is used in the orange gas discharge lamps? Mark Gallington, get my Boris box delivered tomorrow. Mark, sorry that you're having to reply. We're having to get Boris boxes, but never mind. You have to come over and have a good curry when you're free to travel. And bath chairs. Keep trying to sell me stair lifts, bath chairs. They're trying to sell me insurance, normally for the house or for the car. Got my insurance through them, said Mick. Yeah, I got my car insurance. It was the cheapest by a mile. For some reason, but never mind. By a mile. Yes. Question number 9. Here we go then. What one word German name is the literal translation for the English word for sausage? So what one word German name is the literal translation of the English word for sausage? So for me. Oh, good. Mick got his car insurance. Well, you need good car insurance, Mick Roberts. Didn't you get 3 speeding offences in the last 10 years or something? More? Yeah, Speedo Mick Roberts. He lived next to a speed camera. He still got done by it. I thought that was the funniest thing, but never mind. Sorry, Mick. Oh, I don't mean to talk about you. And finally, question number 10. This is what you've got to work out. The first letters, now remember, take the first letters of the first words in the previous 9 answers, can be rearranged to spell the name of which football ground, which is also the name of a championship golf course? Remember, that's a 9-letter answer. So the first letters of the first words in the previous 9 answers can be rearranged to spell the name of which football ground, which is also the name of a championship golf course. Mick's just replying, got another speed awareness course put back to July. I went on a speed awareness course a few years ago. when I got done for doing 42 mile an hour going out to Dunchurch, I think, in a 40 mile an hour, just clocked over the top. You learn one or two things on the speed awareness course, but of course, does it really make any difference? Does it make you go any slower? Not really. All you learn is that there are less people killed on motorways than there are on B roads, apparently. All those kind of marvellous facts that we all want to know. Right then, I am going to give you a minute to work all those out, because once you get the connection, you can then work all the answers backwards, and if you've got a letter missing, you can work it out. So do we all understand what we're doing? Anybody not quite understand what 48 mile an hour on the M6? Wait a minute, there must have been roadworks. I trust there were 40 mile an hour roadworks, and you got done for speeding at 48 miles an hour. I can hear the phones dinging, so answers are still coming in from other people. Gantry camera. Well, there's nothing worse, is there? Nothing worse than a gantry camera, other than, of course, a copper sat there in a blooming vehicle just waiting for you. That's even worse, I think. Sneaking up on you. Yeah, well, that's one thing they haven't been able to do much of whilst the roads have been a lot quieter. Question 10, KRV-SOVT. Exactly. You've definitely got a few of the letters there, Dean, right? Yes, Dean, you've got one or two of the letters, right? You've got, wait a minute. Well, you've got two O's. There's no O's in there. I'll just give you a... You take the O's out and stick something else in. Okay. Initial letter links are always good quiz rounds because it lets people really think about what the hell they're doing. And you can kind of work them backwards if you work hard. Dean, you must have the first. Wait a minute, you've got not any O's. Got any O's? What kind of O's do you want, Chili? Garden O's. What does he bring in first? I think he brings him a garden hose, doesn't he? No, O's. And then he brings him a water hose. Slowly but surely. And then he asks for peas, doesn't he? Yeah, that was a great sketch. Mon repose O's. Yeah, that was a great sketch by any standards. We could all relive that, couldn't we? Four candles, the 4 candles sketch. That was marvellous. Right, are we ready for some answers? How you doing, Ange? You about ready? What doesn't work? What? Okay then, everybody, let's go through the answers. Are we ready? Anybody still need a bit more time? Just quickly put it on the chat. If you don't need any more time, let's go for it. Right then, off we go. What is the only vowel that doesn't appear in the topmost of the 3 rows of the letters on the standard keyboard? The top row is QWERTY, which basically has an E, an I, an O, and a U. So the only one that's missing is the letter A, which is next to the letter S on the second row, of course. So letter A I wanted. Number 2, the car manufacturer Saab comes from Sweden. Number 3, prior to that date, what colour was used to indicate the live conductor? Of course, everybody knows that's red. Red was live in the UK. Number 4, the 40th president, of course, was Mr. Reagan, and his wife was Nancy Reagan. Number 5, it's the troposphere, which is the lowest of the 4 zones of the atmosphere. Number 6 was Elizabeth Taylor. And number 7, the Kohinoor is in fact a diamond. Number 8, that highly reactive metal is sodium. Number 9, the German name, which literally translates as sausage is worst, as in Bratwurst, or various worst, W-U-R-S-T. And if you rearrange those letters, you should end up with Birmingham City's football ground. Although it doesn't quite, it's not called St Andrews anymore because it's been sponsored by somebody. But it's also a championship golf course. St Andrews I was after. St Andrews. Well, see, put Chilly Willy the inside in the eyes on when the pubs are opening again, Nick. Yeah, we'll see about that. Right, Rugby Rotary Club, first to get their scoring tonight, 46 points. John Rowe, famous 5 on 44 points. We've got Donna Brown on 37.5 points. We've got Chilly Willy on 48 points. Chris Beat, 48 points. Michelle Gibbons, 45 points. We've got Don Quizojo on 44 points. Squeaky Bob on 43. We've got the Crystal Methodist on 45 and 9/12. We've got Anthony Ridgway on 44. We've got, what's that? Oh, bother. It was something on the Villa, but never mind. We've got Helen and Steve Valentine on 44. Mike Yates on 39 points. Sarah's on 39 points. We've got Jill Pugh. Oh, blimey, it's going too fast here. It's going down. We've got Gillian Pugh on 43 points. We've got Andrew Lewis on 46 points. We've got Brian Farmer and the Farmers on 42 points. Roger Griffiths on 40.5. Graham Giffen on 42 points. Martin Davis woefully behind Andrew Lewis at the moment on 37.5 points. Stuart Colwell on 42 points. Great White on 71 points. We got Sif on 45 points. Very good. Nicky Bowers on 36.5. Nick Roberts 36. Paula Lewis and the Quizzy Rascals on 47 points. Mark Gallenton on 33 points. We've got Booby Prize Girls on 39.5 points now. Ian Miller on 37. We've got Carol Jackson Home Loan on 45. That could be a winning position yet. We will see. We've got Ruth Foster Spoonfish and the Greys on 43. Alex Brown also on 44 points. Bigger Mix on 40 points. We've got Lisa Lasky on 39. We got John on 35 points. We've got Ian Townsend and the Foreskins on 41 points. Harry Julian Ian and Harry Cage on 43. Gray's Opticians on 43. We've got the Matrons Boys on 48 points. Chris Pickard on 43. Can't wait for the final sport round. Well, they're not sport questions, unfortunately. So we've got a few 48s out there. So we've got, let me just have a look. We have Matrons Boys on 48 points. We also have on 48 points Chris Speak and the gang. And we also have, I think we're 3 teams in there. Oh, fine. Never mind. I've probably gone past them. So 48 to beat at the moment. We've got 2 teams. We've got Andrew Lewis on 46. We've got Paul Lewis and the Quizzy Rascals on 47. Last week's winners. We've got a few 44s, 45s. Oh, Master Lewis on 48. Who else is on 48? Fairy Tale Books of History round. Well, we could do, actually, we could do the, what about the, could do, I don't know. I'll come up with something, Keith. We'll see. Chilly Willy was on 48, of course. So it's all down. Well, 3 winning teams. We've got Chilly Willy on 48. We have Matrons Boys on 48. We've got Chris Speak and the gang on 48 points. So it's all to fight for on this very tricky last round. Very tricky last round. This is not easy. This is tricky trivia. 10 stupidly tricky trivia questions. 1 or 2 might be easy, but the rest are tricky. So here we go then. I will whip through them fairly swiftly because basically I don't want people trying to look these up on their phones. Not that they will. Let's not bother about that. Here we go then. Question number 1. In Fawlty Towers, Basil Fawlty often claimed to have a bit of shrapnel left in his leg. But from what war was it left? I'll give you the choice. Was it the Falkland War, the Korean War, or the Second World War? So in Fawlty Towers, Basil Fawlty often claimed to have a bit of shrapnel left in his leg from the war. But I'll give you the choice. Was it the Falkland War, the Korean War, or the Second World War? Here's a good question, isn't it? Well, it's a stupid question, really, but never mind. That's the whole idea of this round. Question number 2, very devious. Very devious indeed. Put my fingers here. I think I've got gas in my left finger. I don't know why. Question number 2. Name the only 3 properties with the same colour on the Monopoly board whose first letters can be found on the bottom row of a standard QWERTY keyboard. Now that's tricky. Now, no looking up your keyboards. Well, it's hard because half of you are doing this on a laptop anyway. So maybe you can look up your keyboards. So name the only 3 properties with the same colour on the Monopoly board whose first letters can be found on the bottom row of a standard QWERTY keyboard. So I'm after the name of 3 properties. Mick Roberts will love this one because he hates Monopoly questions. So how many of you are all back to work then? Or are you have we still got people completely isolated or what? At least we can go out apparently with family, friends now or whatever. I don't know. But yes, UK Monopoly. I should have quantified that with the UK Monopoly board. Sorry. I didn't mean the US version. We didn't want Atlanta, bloody all the streets of Atlanta, did we? Never mind. I know you Americans might like that, but never mind. Now we're looking for London streets on the UK edition of the standard Monopoly board. Right, number 3, another tricky one. In 1851, William Lassell discovered 2 large moons orbiting Uranus. Not mine, obviously, but Uranus, the planet. These were called Ariel and Umbriel, being named after characters created by which English writer? So in 1851, William Lassell discovered 2 large moons orbiting Uranus. These were called Ariel and Umbriel, being named after characters created by which English writer? Of course, if you're American, it should be pronounced Uranus. Well, we like the traditional naming of Uranus. I think we had a question about Uranus last week. I can't remember. Is there a rugby version of Monopoly? Yes, there is actually. There's also a Howden's version of Monopoly. There's hundreds of versions of Monopoly. How many, talking of Monopoly, is it prime time? Yes, rugby school sale. Interesting. I thought I was waiting for that, Alex. I was waiting for somebody to come up with some smart ass, some smart ass question about Uranus, but never mind. Right then, question number 4. Which of these writing materials is not made from paper? I'll give you the choice. Is it parchment, papyrus, or paper? So question 4 again, which of these writing materials is not, oh God, I've got that wrong. Sorry, I'll start again. Don't write that down, Ange. Lids, you put it down. Never mind. Oh dear, oh dear. That one has gone completely wrong. Oh, retract it quick. Right, my daughter's retracted that one because I needed to alter that question because I put a stupid answer in the don't ask. Right, we'll start again. Are you ready again for this for the second time? Which of these writing materials is not made from? Oh no, I think I've got that wrong again. Hang on. Right, sorry. Right, here we go then. A bit of a butter up on that one, never mind. You can't get them all right. I wrote that one down completely wrong. So we'll start again. Are we ready? Sorry, Sarah. Thanks everybody for bearing with me on that stupid question that I asked. I'm going to ask it again. Here we go then. Question number 4 for a fourth time or a third time. Which of these writing materials is not made from vegetable matter? That's more like it. So which of these writing materials is not made from vegetable matter? I'll give you the choice. Is it parchment, papyrus, or paper? It's nothing to do with the beer gate. That was written at least at lunchtime today. I just wrote the question wrong. So when I'm reading a question that's written wrongly, it doesn't help. It adds a bit of fun to the quiz anyway, doesn't it, Kate? Lockdown taking its toll. No, next week, Mark, next week. We haven't got any lockdown tonight, unfortunately. No, the whole lot went. Over a matter of 3 weeks, we've managed to sell all the lockdown, which is why I rebrewed it last Wednesday. So we will have a fresh batch of lockdown for next week if anybody's interested. We will have plenty to go at. Right then, question number 5. Listen carefully. Who is the famous narrator of the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle short story, The Casebook of Sherlock Holmes? I'll give you the choice. Is it Dr. Watson, Sherlock Holmes, or Professor Moriarty? So who is the famous narrator of the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle short story, The Casebook of Sherlock Holmes? I'll give you the choice. Is it Dr. Watson, Sherlock Holmes, or Professor Moriarty? Bit of a tricky one, that. Maybe, maybe not. You need to drink more. I probably do, Carol. Not that I live under sufferance, I don't. But beer always helps. It helps in most situations, generally. Question number 6 is a nice, easy one. What one word can be a type of physical game, a soft drink, or an edible fruit? So what one word can be a type of physical game, a soft drink, or an edible fruit? Ooh, blimey. I'm looking at the next question thinking, oh my God, never mind. A good old saga question for all those over 50 or 60 or maybe 70 or 80. Too old for me. This is one for you to work out. How many square yards would you find in an acre? If it helps, it's traditionally defined as an area of 1 chain by 1 furlong. That may help a lot of you, might help 1 or 2 of you, might help none of you. So how many square yards would you find in an acre? If it helps, it's traditionally defined as an area of 1 chain by 1 furlong. That's the sort of a question, isn't it? I can hear my wife's phone dinging there, texting back and forth to see whether they got it right or wrong. You got loads of people there. Is that the British or American acre? I don't know, Martin. But if you get a kick, you'll probably end up with 2 acres, won't you? Ah, dear. No, it'll be a British acre, I'm sure. The Americans were never very good at copying the British anyway, but never mind. Right, question number 8. Which of the following has been a UK #1 hit single? I'll give you the choice. Is it Rocket Man, The Candyman, or Mr. Tambourine Man? Now, I got 3 choices there. So which of the following has been a UK #1 hit single? Was it Rocket Man, The Candyman, or Mr. Tambourine Man? All well-known songs. Yeah, I'd go with British, Lisa. That's the way forward. Although I do remember the last time I was in America, they were selling melons on the side of the road, and they were selling them in bushels, and I got no idea what the bloody hell they were. Dear, oh dear. Of course, we deal in pounds and kilos, I suppose, but bushels. I know a good old measurement, but that was on the road, on the side of the road in Florida. Melons by the bushel. Question number 9. It's a bit easier. Who played the Prince Regent in Blackadder III and Lieutenant the Honourable George Colthurst St. Barley in Blackadder Goes Forth? So, who played the Prince Regent in Blackadder III and Lieutenant the Honourable George Colthurst St. Barley in Blackadder Goes Forth? And if you didn't think it could be hard enough, last one's also a multiple choice question. Question number 10. Which famous artist and pigeon fancier, if you know, called his daughter Paloma, the Spanish word for pigeon? I'll give you the choice. Was it Pablo Picasso, Salvador Dali, or Francisco Goya? Yeah, I'm sure you're right, Lisa. It's very difficult. Some Americans are still Victorian. I'm a Brit using metric, which can be very confusing. You're right. There's a lot of Brits still don't understand bloody metric, I tell you. It's hard going. My wife doesn't understand kilometres, nor does she understand kilos, really. Or centimetres, millimetres, still in inches and feet, you see. It's very hard when you've been brought up, when you've been taught at school one system and then you've got to try and change the system. Right then, that's your 10 questions. Let's see how well you've done with those. They're all down on the right-hand side in the chat column. I still haven't seen the Langton Loafters. Have they managed to actually add anything to the chat tonight? I've seen they've been. I know they told me they were doing the quiz tonight, but I haven't seen them manage to get on the chat. So they must be doing something wrong or having something barred on their computer. They've probably got something which is stopping them chatting on the chat forum. But never mind. I'm sure they'll work it out. Might take them a month or two, but they'll work it out. Right, I'll give you all a minute and then we will swap. Does anybody need any more time, or have we all got answers for those, or are we all guessing at those to see what you put down? Right then, Chilly Willy, the Matrons, and Chris Speakable top of the board. However, we've also got Quizzy Rascals only 1 point behind. They won last week. So this could be for the glory tonight, see who's won. Do we need any more time? Just type in the chat column if we need a little bit more time. If not, I will give you the answers to the previous 10 questions. It'll be a bit dodgy, I know, but never mind. It was impossible to get all 10 of those. It does depend who's in your team. Whether they've seen them all before, but never mind. Nice one, Martin. Another 40 years. I'm sure you'll be able to get your Encyclopedia Britannica out and look them all up somewhere or other. Just get an answer down for something or other. Here we go then. Should we just go through the answers? There's only Martin the same. Just hang on a little bit. Let's just, if you've got an answer down for everything, that's important. So question number 1, in Fawlty Towers, Basil Fawlty often claimed to have a bit of shrapnel left in his leg from the war. I gave you the choice, was it the Falklands War, the Korean War, or the Second World War? Well, it couldn't have been the Falklands War because that was after Fawlty Towers was actually first televised. It was actually the Korean War, and apparently Basil Fawlty got a bit of shrapnel stuck in his leg. Number 2, name the only 3 properties with the same colour on the Monopoly board whose first letters can be found on the bottom row of a standard QWERTY keyboard. Well, that's Bow Street, Marlborough Avenue, and Vine Street. So B, V, and M. They're all on the bottom row of the thing. They're all the same colour. They're orange or yellow, something near there. Number 3. In 1851, William Lassell discovered 2 large moons orbiting Uranus. These were called Ariel and Umbriel, being named after characters created by which English writer? That, in fact, was Alexandra Pope in the poem The Rape of the Lock. That was particularly difficult because all the planets, all the moons are either named after Alex Pope characters or Shakespearean characters. So very well done if you got that, because that was soft. Never mind. This is the one I really cocked up on. Which of these writing materials is not made from vegetable matter? I gave you the choice. Was it parchment, papyrus, or paper? Well, of course, it's parchment, because that's normally made of animal skin or something like that. Number 5, who is the famous narrator of the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's short story, The Casebook of Sherlock Holmes? That, in fact, is Sherlock Holmes himself. He only narrated 2 of the short stories. There were 54 short stories. Dr. Watson narrated the rest. So very well done if you got that, because that was a trick question as well. Number 6, what one word can be a type of physical game, a soft drink, or an edible fruit? That's squash, as in an edible fruit, known as a squash, or a soft drink, or a physical game. Number 7, this was a solid. How many square yards would you find in a square 80? Well, you would actually find 4,840 square yards. Basically, a chain is 1/10 of a furlong. A furlong is 220 yards. A chain is 22, so it's 22 times 220. Well done if you work that out. And I'm sure some of you will have worked that out. Number 8. Which of the following has been a UK #1 hit single? Rocket Man, The Candyman, or Tambourine Man? It was, in fact, Tambourine Man. Well done if you got that. Number 9, who played the Prince Regent in Blackadder III? And Lieutenant, the Honourable George Colthurst St. Barley in Blackadder Goes Forth. That was Hugh Laurie, of course. And finally, number 10, which famous artist and pigeon fancier called his daughter Paloma? Well, that was, in fact, Pablo Picasso. Well done if you got that. I didn't realise he was a pigeon fancier, but it's something we've all learnt tonight, that Pablo Picasso was a pigeon fancier. Right then, let's have some scores in. Let's see how you top 3, 4, 5 teams have fared. I reckon you've done well to get 5 or 6 out of that lot. So, how many points for number 2? There's only 1 point for number 2, surely. What have I put down? Oh, yeah, there's only 1 point for number 2, Carol. Unless you want to give yourself 3 points, but that's up to you. There's only 1 point for each answer. Well, we've got Mike Yates with 45. We've got John O'Rourke with 53. Chilly Willy, very good with 55. Sarah's with 47. We got the Spoonfish and the Greys on 51. Stuart Colwell with a very respectable 46. Michelle with a 52. Don Quixote with a 52. Jill with a 48. Anthony Ridgway with 51. Great White 47. Graham Gifford 50. Well done them. Harry Cage with 50. Chris Speak with 55. Kevin Kiernan, the Rugby Roach Club on 53 points. Lisa Lasky with 42 points. We're satisfied with that, with just the 2 of them. Pick a Mix on 48 points. Well played then. Alex, well played you, 48 as well. Andrew Lewis with 52. Did you beat Martin? That's the important thing. Mick Roberts with 42. We've got Squeaky Pod with 50. Paula Lewis with Quizzy Rascals on 54. We've got Ian Townsend and Forskins on 47. Mark Garrington on 38. Mark Davis on 43.5. Carol Jackson, Home Alone 6 on 52 points. Donna Brown and Matt on 45. Jackie Skip on that's just disappeared. 43.5 points. Gray's Opticians on 50. Leslie Barrett's bombed out on 50. We've got Brian Farmer on 48. We've got Leslie Barrett bombed it, 50 points. Jill Pugh, last round was a killer. It was a killer. Very difficult, that one, especially if you got the Alexandra Pope one. I thought that was particularly tricky. But never mind. Nikki Bowers, 42.5. Bye all. Off to get a drink. See you on Wednesday. Nice to see you, John. Hope your week goes well. We've got Matron's Boys on 57 points. That could be a winning score tonight. Ian Miller, what did you get? Alex Brown, he was on. Good score. Jim, thanks, Nick. That was hard tonight, but good. Yeah, it was hard tonight, but never mind. We got Roger Griffiths on 45.5. And the Crystal Methodists on 250. What is it? 21 5/4. Very good score. Chris Pickard on 50. Excellent score. Mike Yates, see you, John. Anybody else with scores in tonight? So I think winning score tonight. Did we got Chris Speaks scoring? I don't know. 57 I've got. Yeah, I've got a 57 from the Matrons. We've got Chris Speak with a 55. Chili Willy. Where's Chili Willy got to? He was near the top. 55. 2 sevens. So winning score tonight. Was I think 57 points, and that was by the Matrons Boys. Well played them. Right, everybody, I know that was very tough tonight, and thank you all for taking part. It's a bit of fun on a Sunday night. I hope you don't take it all too seriously, but it's great to have people from all over the world taking part, especially from Canada and California. It's been great to see you, especially our friends from Norwich and from down south and from, where else we're from? We've got Norwich, we've got Lincoln, we've got Blackpool, we've got all over the place. But thank you all for taking part tonight. It's been good fun, and it's time probably for me to have a new beer, or another beer, he says, Nolly, and sit down and have some good hard quiz. Yes, thanks, Dean. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, John. Nice to see you. Speaker Rob, thanks. Good night to all, and hope you have a good week. Coming week, I don't know what you're all doing, but never mind. I hope you all have a good week coming up and see what it's like. Chili Willy, thanks. Now, any news on opening? No, not as yet, Chili. I think the earliest we've got, as far as the press is concerned, is July the 4th, Independence Day. So maybe it will be Independence Day. We'll see. It depends a little bit on what happens over the next month. Thanks, Andrew. Well done. Did you manage to beat Martin tonight or not? Who's top of the pops tonight? You were way ahead. I mean, you must have been out of thrashing tonight. Although apparently he beat you the other week. I think Andrew Lewis versus Martin Davis show is doing very well. Carol Jackson, well done, Nick. You've been hilarious as usual. Thanks, Carol. I'll see whether I can put some more jokes in about the. Well, I don't know. I'll put some more jokes in about something. We'll see. Thanks, Mark, and hope all is well with you. Hope your Boris box goes well tomorrow. And if you want me to send you anything, I'll send you a Boris box if you want. I don't know. I don't know. Are you struggling at all? Let me know. We'll see. Anyway, good night all, and thank you very much for taking part tonight. I will be doing Wednesday night quiz, which will start again at 8:15. Well, it's 8 for 8:15. So if anybody wants to join us Wednesday night, do a nice easy quiz on Wednesday night without too many catch questions. So good night all, and stay safe this coming week. And Keith, should we go and do some sanding down and a bit more prep tomorrow, I think, if you're up for it. But let me know. Cheers all anyway, and thank you very much for taking part. It's Nick signing out, and we'll be ready to watch some TV now, I think. Time for beer and some telly. Good night all. Thank you.